Hello Aquarius and welcome to my channel GreenLion Goddess Tarot. This is your fortnightly reading for June the 16th through to the 30th. And as I was tuning in for you Aquarius, I was getting an image of this ice statue and it was a part of you, but you were walking away from it detached and looking at it, like witnessing this part of you that has frozen or gone cold or iced over. A part of your energy that has, been frozen in time for whatever reason, or has, it's kind of a fascinating thing. And I think it's quite an interesting observation. For some of you, this could be revelatory, if I can say the word properly. And we've got Page of Feathers, exploration and discovery. And it's almost like you are discovering a part of yourself that you're like, I didn't realize that I'd shut myself off so much, but I also want to get to know that part again. I didn't realize I did that. So it's this lovely sense of exploration and discovery of yourself and some new ideas as well. Perhaps this is precipitating like this, that something, like it's just this energy of something has either been shut off or has been very inaccessible to you, and now you're seeing, by the fact that you're now able to kind of detach and witness from it, is that you can work with this energy now, and you can actually, it opens you up to new possibilities or new ways of being. So like I said, it's this it's kind of more of a curious energy of, how did that happen? And now how does this open up and how can I explore this energy? We've got Sword Ace, air. Oh, and Wand Ace, look at this, fire and air. Fabulous. The fire's coming in and melting the ice, which is really fabulous. But these two aces, the Ace of Fire, the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Swords, it's like a whole new beginning. We also have the Strength card coming in. So this is your opposite sign, Leo, coming through the Sun and Pluto. And all of these cards are showing you something really, really clearly, if I can hold them up. I'm struggling to do this at this moment, Aquarius. It's like this new insight that's coming through. The Sun card illuminates everything, but the fact that Pluto's in there as well, and Pluto quite literally is the icy planet. It's about where things have frozen over, where things have, like you could have put up walls, and now the Sun has come out again, the Sun and the fire, and as an opportunity to melt that energy and to transform it, because Pluto is saying you've looked into the shadow, you've observed, you've detached and you've seen something, and now through that process of witnessing it and actually taking a good look at it, that you can go through this transformational alchemical shift. So it's quite amazing, and the Sword Ace is very much the sense of clarity coming in. And this would suggest a new beginning with the two aces and the Strength card, the courage to step into the new here. And the Ace of Wands is like Jupiter in Aries, Mars in Aries. There's something that you kind of very much, something's being unlocked here. And it is requiring a bit of courage and bravery, but also seeing how strong you are. There's resilience. And perhaps it has been through this process that you have strengthened over all these experiences that you can now unlock it. So, interesting. Very, very fascinating reading, Aquarius. So this reading is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. Always recommend to watch all three of your placements if you know where they are, because it shows you kind of a fuller picture, more holistic view of what's going on for you. And this is a general reading, Aquarius. Just take what feels right. Wow, the Empress has come out as the situation. We are looking at abundance. Wow, beautiful. Just take what feels right, Aquarius, and leave the rest. It is a general reading. So, and if it does really resonate and you want to explore this further, there will be an extended reading. So the link for that will be in the description box below. So when the Empress is coming out, this is where she's wanting to bring some more of everything, more of love or more money, more of everything that feels like the good things in life, crossed by the Four of Pentacles. Now, that's interesting because that is holding on to something for fear of letting go. The World card, endings of cycles, beginnings of cycles, the courage to step into it, the Four of Swords. There's a bit of conflict around this. The Magician, this is, wanting to start, having the will, the consciousness, the Six of Swords. I love it. It's an Aquarius energy of moving on, finding peace. The Strength card, this is you, quite literally. You are the Strength card. This is the maiden softly and very bravely shutting the jaw of a lion. So it's where Virgo meets Leo. It's where some of the ego is tamed into a space where you're kind of stepping into a vulnerable energy, an energy that doesn't quite have as much experience, but it's strong. There's strength in this opening up to vulnerability, which is interesting. The Hanged Man as energy surround you. The Knight of Swords, kind of interesting, that Hanged Man energy I'm getting. And the Eight of Pentacles, a lot of this could be to do with your work, or you're about to work on something. There's new contracts coming in. The Ace of Swords can represent that as well. And look at this, the Ten of Pentacles. It's to do with a legacy or your security and your stability. Now, I don't usually just go to this card first, but this Hanged Man energy is reminding me, it's talking to me. So this is kind of showing me, this is the card of the energy surrounding you at this moment in time, Aquarius. So what they're showing me is it's like, there's been an ice age. They're taking me back to, they would find the remains of like a woolly mammoth or a caveman or a Neanderthal or whatever they were called for whatever time period we're looking back. But there were the remains of something has been shown. And it was like it was suspended in time, quite literally. And it's about looking at something in a very different perspective and gaining the enlightenment around that. So something has really kind of stagnated, or an energy is either stagnated or been frozen in time. And this Hanged Man energy is saying this is an ancient energy. It's going back. They're quite literally taking me to the Ice Age, where it's like suddenly you've discovered some kind of very interesting fossil, which is actually a part of you, and getting excited about this discovery. So that's where we get exploration discovery. It's like, oh, wow, there's so much we can learn from this ancient energy about how things were a long time ago. And a lot of this actually could be past life energy. This could be, or just something that an energy you used to be like and you'd forgotten. But I do feel like it's kind of got longer than that, longer than this lifetime. And so it's giving you so much information. It's like, okay, there's some sort of archaeological dig. We're digging it up. We're having a look at it. And it's like, wow, what is it going to tell you? And it's this sense of discovery, not only of history, but also your own personal history. So it's a fascinating, I find this really fascinating. I think it's a really lovely energy. Just a fascinating energy. I don't feel like there's anything particularly scary about this. It's like you've dug up a woolly frozen mammoth, and it's like, wow, I never thought in this lifetime I'd actually get to see that. And imagine if it came back to life like Jurassic Park. And so it's kind of got this like, ooh, you've unlocked something here. And it definitely, with the Leo energy, this is your opposite energy, where you do need to find like the middle ground between that energy. And so it's sort of almost like you froze something out in relationship to this Leo energy as well, which is very much to do with self-expression, or it could be to do with your heart. Leo energy is ruled by the heart. So it could be very much, it could be to do with creativity, leadership, performance. It can be any sort of those sort of things. It can also be parts of you that was looking for validation from something else or somebody else. It can be some of those things. It doesn't have to necessarily be all of that. But like I said, it's a general reading. So just kind of apply what feels right for you. But we do have the Empress. Look at this. She's standing in this beautiful, warm, lush garden here. There's no ice anywhere. It's like, wow. So it's a situation the Empress is wanting to bring more love, more money, more abundance to you. It is crossed by the Four of Pentacles. So for some of you, you're like, some of you have got savings that you're not wanting to let go of, or you don't have savings, and that's an issue. I can't buy that plane ticket because I don't have money. But it's kind of interesting with the Four of Pentacles, mostly just it's a Capricorn energy where it's kind of quite stingy. The Empress is the opposite. This is Taurus. Venus is in Taurus. She does represent Venus. We can see the Venus symbol on her pillow there. She represents Venus, and Venus is in Taurus at this moment in time. Venus works so well in Taurus, wants to bring all these good things in. And she's working with Pluto, so transforming some of the old energies to bring in more abundance, which is really fantastic. But this Capricorn energy is a little bit like, the person that doesn't want to buy the round of drinks or doesn't want to spend money, a little bit frugal kind of energy. So it could be worries about money. It could just be like fears around money. It could be, what are you holding on to tightly for fear of letting go, for fear of stepping into this abundant energy. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting. And we have, as in your conscious mind, the World card. And this with the Six of Swords can represent international travel. So some of you are booking like some kind of airline or some sort of trip. So yeah, that can come in. But the World card does mean the ending of cycles. It's the very last card of the major arcana. And then we've got the two aces, which represents the new beginning. So it's, some big endings and big beginnings. And in your conscious mind, you kind of maybe wanting something to complete, or you're seeing something's completed. There's liberation associated with this ending as well. But with the Strength card there, it also may suggest that it's taking courage to let that go and to step into the new. So yeah, it's interesting with the World card. And I feel like there's a big shift about to occur in your life at this moment in time with this energy that's coming through. So with the big energies around, like I said, your conscious mind, the Four of Swords, which is this energy is at the base, but this is your logical mind. This is your thoughts. There's conflict around it. You're kind of uncertain, unsure about some of the things that have been unearthed and uncovered here, and some of the big endings and some of the new beginnings that are coming in. So the Five of Swords does represent conflict. It could also quite literally mean the end of a conflict in your life around around something that it can be a fallout with friends. It can be a fallout with a loved one. It can be an argument. It can be just, sometimes that time when you're around people and everything they say kind of either doesn't resonate with you, or it's a little bit annoying because you're just not on that same frequency. It can mean that as well. It could have been that some big fallout, like there was a huge fight, and this is where the wall and the ice has come up. It can be all of that sort of stuff that's coming in. And, ultimately the Empress wants to bring in the love where your mind has kind of shut something off from the heart and gone, right, cutting that down. So interestingly, I think that it's wanting to overcome something that a conflict that's been deep inside you for a while now. And perhaps, it's time to release that. So in the recent past, we've got the Magician. It's also a number one. So, very clearly there's some new things have begun, and it's in your conscious mind this ending or the need for something to end to bring in the new is very clear. The Magician is making new plans, quite literally. It's a sense of drawing resources towards you. It's the act of pure consciousness, consciously connecting with something, with this energy, and willing something into creation. It's like you've willed, they're showing me the frozen woolly mammoth into creation, so that suddenly you're consciously connecting to this energy that's being kept in the ice. You're seeing it for what it is, and now you can make some interesting plans about what you're going to do with it. So that ice energy is going to be different for all of you, but I do feel like it's important to kind of connect to it, because in the near future you've got the Six of Swords, which is making peace with something. It's moving on from the Five. You're quite literally at the root, the base, what's happening deep down is this conflict, and you're able to move on from it. So you've gone from the Five to the Six, which is really fantastic. You've quite literally taken that next step and been able to move on and find the peace away from some emotional turbulence, some things that might have been really bothering you, and been able to make this big move here into this new energy that's being presented to you. So the Six of Swords quite literally can mean moving. So it can be like moving house, moving jobs, moving careers. It can be anything like that. It could be, it's just a big shift and change and move that is coming in here. So, the Six of Swords can also represent travel, which is why we're getting the international travel or booking a trip of some sort, because we've got exploration and discovery, which actually feels like it's really important to go to. And again, they're showing me like the North Pole or the Arctic, the polar kind of the polarities. It's kind of interesting because we've got strength, the Leo at the top, the polar opposite, and then we've got these kind of pole energies. And that's kind of a little bit like it's like some sort of exotic place that you wouldn't normally visit to, but at the same time, it would be really fascinating to go there. Not everybody's going to think that, but it just feels like you're going to beyond a place. This exploration and discovery is going beyond a place or a space that you would normally go to. It's beyond. So you're presenting as the Strength card. So, yeah, I mean, you do have to be strong to go on this journey. And, yeah, here you are, getting your resilience on, getting your bravery on, getting your courage up, and the double strength coming in, 2 strength cards. This is something big that you're about to step into, that you're unlocking here. So, yeah, you are being super brave and courageous at this moment in time, which is fantastic. Energies around you, the Hanged Man, we have talked about this character. He kind of came in and wanted to talk first, which is kind of interesting as well, because there's something in your environment that is demanding your attention at this moment in time. It's like, look at me. I want to go first. I'm not willing to wait in line. So there is quite literally something or someone that you do need to kind of look at and address this, and it's related to this conflict and the thing that's being unlocked here. So, yeah, enlightenment is also the energy of the Hanged Man, but things suspended in time, quite literally. But it's this sense of, some stagnant energies are now ready to be released. There was something else. The Hanged Man is about sacrifice as well. What is it that you need to let go of, connected to this, that in order to move on? So you're seeing that you're witnessing that, you're being shown that. And yeah, hopes and fears, the Knight of Swords, this is determination, strength, endurance to move forward. It's things moving really quickly. Now, that may not be something you want. This energy feels like it's going at quite a nice pace. It doesn't feel like it's pushing or going super fast, which is actually good. So it may be because this feels like such a big shift and change. There could be some deep healing associated with this even. And a lot of processing, mental processing. You don't necessarily want this to go super fast, but maybe you do. Maybe there's a part of you that goes, I'm so sick of that old conflict. I'm so sick of that old cycle. I just want to move on from it as fast as possible. So it's going to be different for all of you, but it is the fastest moving energy in the deck, the Knight of Swords, and is very determined. It's on a quest, quite literally a quest to find the answers to the secrets of the woolly mammoth that has been frozen in time. So as an outcome, we've got the Eight of Pentacles and the Justice card. So the Ace of Swords represents contracts, new contracts. The Justice card represents new contracts. Eight of Pentacles represents your work. So for a lot of you, new contracts around your work or something that you've been working on in your life. So it doesn't have to necessarily be your work, but just say it's this thing that has stagnated, or it could be anything. It's this conflict. But yeah, there's a new contract coming in around it, which can be a legal contract for some of you. It can be any kind of legal contract, but it can also just be a sense of a new agreement within yourself, a new soul contract that you're stepping into. And what they're showing me is quite literally, the contract that we sign before we step into this lifetime or even many lifetimes. And it's like you're ticking a box and going, right, I'm starting a new cycle, and this was in the contract. So yeah, fascinating. And but this feels really positive. It feels quite official. So the Justice energy also has an impartiality. It wants to bring in truth and balance and justice, quite literally fairness. So something that's been unfair or out of balance, aka the frozen thing, the thing that's been frozen, or you've been frozen out even. Maybe someone's given you the cold shoulder or put the wall up. There's a sense of there's a new agreement around that, or new negotiation of those new contracts that are coming through. But yeah, for some of you, this is quite literally like it's a great time to travel, to work. It could be like maybe you're going traveling and you're kind of negotiating. This could be holiday pay or whatever it is, or you're putting something on hold, a contract on hold in order to step into the new. There's just contractual things that you're kind of dealing with and negotiating. So, but ultimately we've got the Ten of Pentacles as the overall energy. And this is saying it's something very solid and new, that, this is a solid thing that you're working on here. Quite literally, again, with the same thing, they're showing me this big solid block of ice that you are unearthing and uncovering and discovering and going through this beautiful process of discovery. But the Ten of Pentacles represents attainment of goals. You know, you're setting new goals here with the Ace of Swords and the Wand Fire. What is it? The Ace of Wands, if I could speak properly. This is setting new goals for yourself for the future, and these could be big goals, and it's like I want to either get to where it is that I want to get to. So that's why it can represent a legacy of sorts, what it is that you want to achieve. A big achievement is coming in with this, surrounding this. This could also be part of what you've left behind as well. You know, you put in as much as you can, and now you've left something behind for other people to kind of work with. So, yeah, it can represent a legacy. It can be related to your security, wanting to bring more abundance in. I feel like you're being really clever with your negotiations. You're not leaving yourself out in terms of, you know, just say you were going traveling. You're working something out in terms of your work or your money. You're not leaving yourself high and dry with something here. So you're taking the opportunities, but you've got sort of a strategy in place so that you've got backup plans and you've got things that you can fall back upon. So it's like it's clever. You're being clever about this is the energy that I'm getting with it. So let's pull an affirmation card, whatever this big move is. And like I said, the move is going to bring attainment and abundance. That's kind of the end goal as well, whatever this is. So setting some new goals for yourself would be really fantastic, and even ones that are going to challenge and bring in more growth. This says, I am beautiful and everybody loves me. This is your affirmation card. And this is actually very much a Leo energy. So this might be part of the frozen energy. It says, I radiate acceptance. And again, it's that polar, finding the balance in the poles. I radiate acceptance and I am deeply loved by others. Love surrounds me and protects me. And again, this energy of the freezing, something being frozen may be where you felt very rejected or unloved as well, where you did have to do this simply to protect yourself, protect your beautiful heart. But now it's kind of, there's something beautiful coming back to you that you can express. And so, yeah, these new goals potentially, or new starts, new things that are being activated, initiated are around that in your life. So let's pull. It feels complicated, the energy. Like it's not just one thing. Yes, I feel like it's going to affect, it's like everything, what they're showing me is the balance. So everything affects everything else. So this is all about loving yourself, and then that in itself is going to precipitate the sense of being able to move on from a conflict, and that's going to precipitate maybe making some positive changes around your work and career, and then making the positive changes around your work and career could open up to more freedom and travel. And so it's just kind of finding the flow here and letting things flow, which is this is where I think that you are it's a sense of flow because the ice is melted. But and this is a beautiful journey of exploration, self-exploration and self-discovery that's coming in here, which is opening things up for you in your external world. So we've got handmade. Okay, beautiful, handmade. I love this little card. This little charm, sorry. So handmade would suggest it's very much like this Eight of Pentacles here, handmade. It's handcrafted. It's a sense that it's something very unique to you. It could be something very personal. For some of you, quite literally, you're doing something that involves your hands and even something to do with crafts and skills and craftsmanship. So, yeah, but it's like this is very a sense that it could be quite bespoke. It could be quite a bespoke solution or something that's coming through for you, that these new goals that is really important to you. But the handmade energy also has a sense of, like I said, it reminds me, it's deeply personal, but it reminds me of the sort of thing that you would see at markets. Like it's got this community feel to it as well. So, but yeah, ultimately, like this, it's saying this is what's being created by you with the handmade energy, which is really beautiful. So this is your opportunity to set these new goals, to step into these activated new energies and to chip away at whatever it is that has come up here that's been frozen to bring in the Empress energy, the abundance. So, I mean, it's a beautiful energy to come through, and that is, the sense it's tailored especially to you with the handmade energy. So the quality of it is important as well. It seems like it needs to have a well-made quality, and there's something that just makes it feel more special working with this energy. So this is it. Okay, so I'm going to take it over to the extended reading now, Aquarius. We're going to see what's coming in the near future. You know, there's a big move here on the card, or you're moving on from something, which is really fantastic. That thing you're moving on from could have been something that was quite stable in your life. You're moving into something new, a new kind of stability. But then also it's, we've got new contracts around work or new agreements in terms of goals that are being set. There's a sense of balance and fairness, and impartiality is really important with all of these things moving on from the conflict. So we're going to see what's all happening with this in the near future. Like, where is this all going? What energies are coming in that are supporting it? And what energies are potentially challenges, or how can you work with this energy? Who's coming in? What new opportunities are coming through with it? So we're just going to look at this a little bit more deeper, get some more intuitive messages. We're going to look further into the future, and that's all going to be in the extended reading. So love it if you come over. The link for this is in the description box below. I think this would be really great, especially if you are traveling or starting some kind of new work or job, or overcoming the conflict. I think this would be really great to explore this further. And the link for that, I usually pin the link in the description box as well. So that's it, Aquarius. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and take care.